Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live.
Habari Live.
From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast. The show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Iesha, Jimmy, and Damon Diplean Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
What's up? Another episode of Habari Live on a Wednesday. And today we're going to talk about some of the news that has topped the week so far, Monday through, or we're going to say Sunday through Wednesday. And the things that we thought were interesting and we wanted to bring to you guys and, discuss more and see how everyone feels about what's going on. And, discuss it and go on with how we would describe or discuss the situations. So let's get it going, man. Another day of Habari Live. But first, let's get to the top stories with Iesha.
For sure. This week's top story so far, a major shift in U.S. immigration policy is happening. The federal government is moving to require a $15,000 bond for visa recipients from 12 additional countries. Officials say that the measure is aimed at reducing visa overstays, but critics are arguing that it's creating a financial barrier that disproportionately impacts applicants from developing nations. This brings a total to 50 countries that are on this list, and a good majority of them are from Africa.
I mean, we already know the mission. The mission of the Republican Party right now is to get rid of immigration, as they see immigrants as a problem. They see the ideals of helping others and taking the huddled masses, as it says on the Statue of Liberty, is disrespectful to them. Mm-hmm. And it's they see it as a threat to whites and to the white population. And basically they describe everybody as crooks and criminals and rapists. This is what they're going with. So it's a tough situation, man. It's really tough. That right now that we're going through this. I mean, these are things that you think that you would just read about in your history books, but the replacement theory and the people who believe it, it's real. And it's not even just that they believe this theory. They are putting in policies. They are doing things in the government to make sure that the ideals of the replacement theory are being fought. They're letting in South Africans that are only white. They're blocking everyone else if you don't have the money to buy it, $1 million to come into the country. They're blocking you from coming in. It's ugly. And I think, like I said, this is not the ideals that America was founded on. But this is what is going on in the Christian nationalist theories and homes right now. This is what they believe in. And immigration is the number one fear for their movement. So we're going to see more of it over the next 3 years, 2 years, and we can only try our best to stand up to the bull, get out and speak and do what we can to fight against it.
I agree.
Hey, man. Yeah, I mean, labor is a big problem, and our reproduction rates. I mean, that's falling in all. When it comes to the European countries, to America, it's falling. The only people that are having kids are the people who are in the poorer countries. The people who have middle class and built the middle class, even in fucking Japan and China, it's slowing down. Reproduction rates are slowing. We don't know if this is going to be a problem that we will face as humans, but other places that are poor, they're not seeing those issues. It's mostly in the first world countries that are having these issues. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But it's a lot of problems, man.
I agree. There are a lot of problems.
Yeah, I disagree. But
Moving on, a legal battle
please.
over housing protections is currently heating up. California and several other states are suing the Trump administration over efforts to roll back fair housing protections. State leaders are arguing that the changes would weaken safeguards against things like discrimination, while federal officials are arguing that they're just cutting regulatory overreach.
No, I didn't hear the beginning. What you say now?
Fair housing protections.
Oh, they're removing them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, man. And I was reading an article about it, and a lot of people were in the comment section pretty much okay with it. They don't believe that discrimination in housing happens. So they don't really care. But I also saw that they're doing things to fight discrimination against white people. So this is really a crazy time. We're in a backwards world right now, where they are fighting to get rid of anything that helped the minorities, and they are doing things to make sure that these things are taken out fast. And we've seen a lot of DEI and all these other things that have been taken, and this is one of them too, that they were after to take away any protections for people who are going through they've done it in education also, any protections, anything that was going on, and they focused more on anything that's happened to white people. And they've outwardly said this: we're not
Right.
focusing on minorities and what's going on with them. We want to see what's going on with white people being discriminated against. And that's their focus, man. And it's tough when people say, hey, they're not racist, Trump's not racist. And we even got black people saying he's not racist. And the old lady, granny lady, was leave Trump alone, ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, so I mean, but then they do stuff like this.
Right.
You take away the protections of a problem that we've had for at least a century, with redlining, with housing discrimination. Man, how do you think we have black neighborhoods? Do you think that people just happen to move to the same place? They all moving from this state, from other states moving to this place, and somehow there's a black neighborhood. How'd that happen? Obviously, it was planned. Obviously, this section is a good spot for the black people to go to. These things are set up. Discrimination in housing is a huge problem that we need to do something about. If we didn't have these neighborhoods that are just all poor people on top of each other, we probably wouldn't have the crime that we have. If people were able to move where they were in areas where jobs are, instead of living in a food desert, I think people are going to live in the places where the jobs are. But the rent is so high and the things are so high, and they get blocked. They don't even get a chance to get these places. So it's a tough situation, man. And Trump's little lapdog, the guy who's running housing and urban housing, he always puts a black dude in charge of that, because that's what he thinks of urban housing. It's just black people. It's ridiculous. But it's sad to see, dude. And when he is answering, I forget his name, but he's asking questions. People ask him questions, and he just looks dumbfounded. He has no idea what the fuck is going on, and he's it's ridiculous. And he's not fighting things like this. He's not standing up. He's not saying anything. And we hear people talking about, oh, Obama didn't do nothing. We got people like this who are in charge of something that could help a lot of people that are poor.
Right.
And the guy isn't doing anything.
Nothing.
Nobody says, look what he's doing or not doing for the black community. It's terrible. But this is what they want to do, man. And their focus is
It'll backfire on them one day.
I just don't
hopefully.
understand, man.
Speaking of things backfiring, a controversial law in Arkansas has finally been struck down. A federal judge ruled against the state mandate requiring public schools to display the 10 Commandments in all classrooms. The court found that the law violates the constitutional separation of church and state. Duh. But this marks a significant decision in the ongoing debate over religion in our public education.
And you know how I feel about it. I think that religion should be nowhere near schools. We should never have religion there because there's so many different religions, and you can't just say that yours is the one that needs to be put up, and everybody else's need to listen to mine.
Right.
It's a trash way of thinking, and it's something that I disagree wholeheartedly with when it comes to religion. I just disagree, man. I don't understand why religion is just something that you keep to your person. But these people really think that this is the way out. They hate science. You know, they believe the fucking planet is flat. Was a 6,000 years ago. You know, the things that these people believe, man, is insane. And they want to teach this to your kids. They want your kids dumb, man. They want them believing that you know, God can come and help you in the middle of the night. I mean, come on, man. I don't understand, man. But they always talking about they don't like the indoctrination that the liberals are doing to the schools. So they do a twice fold and do even more indoctrination by putting religion into the schools. There's nothing more indoctrinating than a religion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pure indoctrination is what that is. And you want to put this in the school, make people. And what about the Muslims? What about the Indians? What about
the Catholics?
The Hindus? The Catholics pretty much believe in the same thing. The Christian pretty much. They have some different things they do a little differently. But like I said, that's the reason why it's a million religions, because they never agreed on anything.
Right.
Everybody thinks something different. Everybody got a different way of looking at who is the person. To have that discussion in schools, it's just we should be focusing on science.
I agree. Lastly, rounding out today's evening rundown, in New York, political fallout is continuing whereas the Mandami administration is seeking to withdraw the legal support that has been previously extended to former New York City Mayor Eric Adams in his sexual assault lawsuit. The move could leave Adams to defend himself privately as the case moves forward. I mean, I can't believe that they've been defending him this long.
Well, I mean, I think as a politician, you get those, you know, you get the law behind you just because you are a mayor or whatever. So you probably get those politicians just because you are the mayor. Now, I don't know how long those protections go after you're not the mayor,
Right.
but I don't know, man. Eric Adams, he just seemed like he traded and he turned his back on the city of New York, you know, and he sold everyone out for Trump, and he just did a lot of shady stuff, man. And most people in New York, I'm not from there, but I would think that they look at him side eyed, especially after he was found guilty. You know what I'm saying, in the criminal case. So I don't know. I think that is the best way to make sure that they have nothing to do with him, is to wash their hands of the case and the situation, so he can do that on his own time and his own money. It's your trial, your case. But like I said, I don't know if how long they supposed to get this these lawyers of protection.
It says that they don't have a set time limit as far as how many years it goes, but
Mhm.
the support only lasts as long as a city deems it appropriate and legally valid.
Right.
Mandami's administration is citing some new evidence
That he's guilty and I don't know
as to
what.
the reason why they're
And they
wanting
don't
to
want to deal with him
pull
no more.
their
Yeah.
support
And
and
he's
pull that
probably
aid.
been cooking the books, some fraud shit. Who knows, man? Dude seemed like he's a crook though, man. I that's what I hate about. Everyone hates about politicians. They get in charge, they get in there, and they just, you know, they start doing the same shit that everybody else do. Still, you know, in cities where the city is poor, it's hurting. and you put a person in charge. This happened in East St. Louis for years and years and decades. Every time they put another crook in charge, and he just get in there, I'm gonna do the right thing. Next thing you know, he's stealing the money. Like, why is everyone so scandalous? Why can't we get someone that wants to be there for the city? But
Right.
that's not what happens, man. It's people want to put money in their pocket. They get in there and they just get greedy. They see all the ways that they can steal money and make money and put money in their own pocket. They just take that route. And it hurts nothing but the people. And the cities are the ones that pay for it. And we see cities dying, dead, because people don't want to do the right thing. The state don't want to do the right thing. The mayor, none of the politicians in the city, everyone is
get
just
in office and go corrupt.
Just corruption. And then they point the finger at the other side when it's too many on both sides that's collecting money, especially when it comes to these lobbyists.
Yep.
Putting money in the pockets of these politicians, changing their stances on what they believe based on how much money they're getting from which lobby. It's terrible, man, and I wish that they would do something about it. But every time any lobbying laws or anti-lobbying laws are put forward,
they vote against it.
It never passes. Never passes. So it's garbage. Did you see in Florida? What was it? Florida, what they didn't pass the bill to ban first cousins from marrying.
I did see that.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna talk about that, but yeah, that's insane. And they didn't get it passed, so it's still legal to marry your first cousin. Like, what is going on in Florida, man? Oh my goodness, man. Florida
cousins.
Yeah, man. They that was wild. That was crazy one this week. But
yeah, that was.
We're gonna talk about a couple things here today. Mainly, I think it was it John with Kent. I know for sure. It was quit this week because of Iran's war. But before we get started, man, let's play this video. Trumper on Trump.
Trump. Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
I mean, at least she's come to her senses. At least she's able to see how foolish she is and how dumb it is to vote for this guy. A rich guy who the poor people think in Kentucky and Mississippi care about them. He could give 2 fucks about y'all. He don't care, just like he don't care about gas prices right now. He don't care. It'll be a while. The tariffs, it'll be okay. You'll be able to handle it. So you can't buy as many dolls as you bought last year. You'll be okay. He doesn't care. And the fact that you won't admit it because you're in the cult and you can't say anything bad about your master. But that's what's going on, man. Is that the beginning? Go ahead.
Yeah, so today for our story, we're going to stay on the war in Iran because another development shows that the United States may not have as much support as the Trump administration predicted.
Mm-hmm.
President Trump said this week that the most NATO allies would have told the United States that they do not want to get involved in the military operations against Iran. And they called Trump, and Trump called that decision a mistake. A very foolish mistake was his words. He commented while speaking to reporters in the Oval Office during a visit from the Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin on St. Patrick's Day. According to Trump, the U.S. informed NATO allies about the operation, but many of them made it clear that they did not want to participate in these operations at all. And Trump said that their
What's up, Ryan?
refusal to help was short sighted. But he also said that he's not planning to punish those countries for staying out of the conflict. And that alone should tell you something important, because normally when the United States goes to war, NATO countries are expected to stand together. And this time they are not.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and run this video, man. Yeah, we made it another week, bro. Give us a round of applause because it's crazy. But let's run this NATO countries and how Trump, gives us a little whiplash while talking about it.
If we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time. We have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. This isn't need. Need would be one of the big boys. If we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may have because of a situation that they have, they should be jumping to help us. We want them to come and help us with the straight. My attitude is, we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't
Just
need
all
them.
in the same
Right,
interview.
exactly. Oh my goodness, man. The dude, man, I mean, he's just talking out the side of his neck. One moment he's saying we don't need their help. The next moment he's hollering, we need their help. We need help with mines. The next minute he's trying to tell us that the war is over and everything's over and then we've demolished them. Then he's asking for help. Like, which one is it? We see all of the time that we cannot figure out what is going on with this war. The stories from Hegseth to Trump to JD Vance, all of them is different. We have no idea what the hell is going on. We don't know what's real. We don't know what's truth. The only people that's out there making shit happen is Israel, because they murdering people daily. They're taking out people in the high echelon of their group, of their government, taking them out. I'm doing well. What's up, man? So it's really, man, crazy to see what's going on with the Trump administration. And I just do not feel as though we are getting the real answers, as they are doing whatever they can to lie to the American people. Probably so, bro. Probably so. Yeah, 2691. I mean, Ryan, you're probably right. So NATO's hesitation and what it means. NATO allies have been cautious about this conflict with Iran from the beginning. Some European countries have said they are worried about the war and it could spread across the Middle East, and it has. As today, Qatar was hit, and one of their oil refineries were hit. So what they're doing, since they can't hit Americans, they're doing everything they can to help people, to hit people that are allies of America. Others have said that there wasn't a clear proof that Iran posed an immediate threat. And some leaders are concerned that the United States moved too quickly without building a coalition first. Building a coalition, getting the votes from Congress. These are the normal ways that war is waged. Not this way. But all that shit matters because wars are very different when the U.S. fights alone compared to when it fights with allies. When NATO is united, the conflicts looks like a global security effort. When NATO stays out, it looks like an American decision. And politically, that changes everything because it makes the administration responsible for the outcome, good or bad.
Yep, exactly, because pressure is building after that resignation story, which comes right after the resignation of the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent,
Mm-hmm.
who said that he does not support the war and claimed that Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States. So now you have two things happening at the same time: an intelligence official actually resigning, and NATO allies are refusing to join the fight. And that combination creates a lot of pressure because it makes people ask whether or not the war was actually necessary,
Mm-hmm.
or whether it was just a decision that was just made irrationally or too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And those types of questions are starting to be asked, and the politicians or politics around the war can change very quickly in
Yeah,
real time.
I don't know, Ryan. I think that a lot of people are not. They do not have the appetite for war right now. People just do not have it. The countries don't have the appetite. They don't want to go to war with Iran. They're not trying to do that, and they know that this could be drawn out, and people are just not feeling it. Now, some countries are definitely cheering against America or going against America, but I don't know. I just think that we're wrong here in this situation. Um, it's it was not unnecessary. These are the same people who yelled and screamed for years that we don't need to help Ukraine. We don't need to be the police of the world. These are the things that Republicans were saying on an everyday basis. Every day. We don't need to police the world. We shouldn't be. Our money should come back to America. America first. They get in power, the opposite. They do the exact opposite of the crap that they've been screaming for 4 years. And these are the reasons why people do not trust the Republican Party, because they love to talk about all the things that the Democrats are doing wrong, and they're great at that. They are very good at that. They are the best at making people look like they're bad at their job. But then when they get in charge, everything's different. And they do the opposite of everything that they were yelling about. Fiscal responsibility every single time. Every single time. I don't know if every voter in America is 12 and they just don't remember 8 years ago, 9 years ago, George Bush, Trump's first term. Like, I don't get it. They always, oh, look at the national debt. Look at it. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. And Democrats keep spending money on welfare queens and socialism. They get in there and they spend 10 times more than what Democrats are spending.
Every time.
Every time. Hey, every time. They blow the deficit out of the water. Republicans don't say a word. They don't have a word to say. They just make excuses. Go on what they do. Trump, the first time, spent so much money. But when Obama was, oh, God damn it, you're spending all this money. But as soon as they get in power, they don't remember. What? Deficit, huh? I don't know. What are you talking about? Whatever. What? They don't even care. And they're supposed to be the deficit hawks. They supposed to be the hawks. But as soon as they get in there, they turn into chicken hawks. They don't do shit. Nothing. Sick of these motherfuckers. They're so fucking annoying, man.
That's gonna be a sound that has to get added to the
Whatever,
board.
man. Trump's position, man. Trump, for his part, is standing by the decision. He's going for it. He's going all in with this war. He says the operation was needed. He said Iran was been a threat for 47 years. And he says allies who refuse to help are making a mistake. But at the same time, he also said he's not planning to punish NATO for staying out. But he did talk trash about them and do what he's been doing since the beginning. Trashing everybody that we're cool with, all of our allies, trashing them. Then ask for help.
Right.
That's the way you get things done. You shit on your people, on the people that you need, and then be like, hey, can I get some help? They like, fuck you. I'm not helping you do shit. Nothing. So the countries are staying out the way, man. And that suggests that this administration knows it needs those allies. But because conflicts like this don't stay small for long, and Trump ego is a big deal, he can't do it. You know, he can't just come out and just go talk to him and try to talk to the people, use diplomacy, and stop being a fucking jackass, but he can't. He just wants to keep on talking trash about him. I mean, today he was steady talking trash about the English leader right now of the UK. Oh, he's no Churchill. Like, dog. Man, and you're the worst president ever. That's what you are, Trump. And you're talking about other people's leadership styles. Goodness. And if this war keeps expanding, man, the United States may need support, whether NATO wants to get involved or not. We're going to need some help if it's keep going the way it's going. And Trump's ego is just going to have to step aside because we're going to need NATO.
We definitely are. So now the situation looks a little bit like this. A war that some intelligence officials say they don't support, and allies who don't want to join in. And then we got a president who's defending that decision while warning others that they should have stood with the United States.
Mm.
That's the kind of moment where foreign policy can change very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the kind of moment that we're going to keep watching because remember, we're only in week 2 of Trump's war.
Right.
But because what happens next could decide how big this conflict actually gets, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I have to say he is the worst. He's the worst president in our timeline. In my time being alive, and I've been alive for a long time now. So, yeah, man, I've never seen anything worse. You know, there has been some things. There has been a Trail of Tears. I think that was Jefferson. I think that was under. So there's some things that were done that was worse. The president that turned his back on the 40 acres and mule. The president that let Jim Crow laws in the South go ahead and ignored everything that was going on in the South, took away the protection from the black people who were just freed. So those were a lot of bad people who made a lot of bad decisions. But I still put Trump up there with them. That's the worst. But all right, we're going to get into the next story tonight. We're staying on politics, but this time we're talking about the war in Iran, like we was already talking about, and the resignation of Kent and what could become a major problem for the Trump administration. The head of the U.S. National Counterterrorism Center has stepped down, saying he cannot support the war and claiming Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States. This is a big deal because this isn't coming from a protester. This isn't coming from a journalist. This is coming from a man who was in charge of analyzing terrorist threats from the U.S. government. Joe Kent, who led the National Counterterrorism Center, stepped down. He resigned. And I want to read what he said as he left. After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values of the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 20, and 24, which you stated in your first term until June of 2025. You understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed Americans of their precious lives, of our patriots, and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. Now, he wasn't with it, man, because they really believe, and it's rare for Republicans to not move the goalpost But this guy here is standing for something that Republicans in MAGA just do not do. Yeah, they're war criminals, a lot of them, but they're not doing. That's what they're not doing. They don't stand for anything. No, he said no new wars, and he started all these wars, and most of them, they're yellow bellies. They're gonna follow right behind them. They don't have fucking guts to stand up and say, "Hey, this is not what we wanted." He has the guts. And what they're going to do, they're going to trade on him. Trump start talking trash about the guy. Same old stuff. But let's go ahead and play the video Trump on Kent and see what he has to say about him.
President, your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that president should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash, hundreds of millions of dollars? You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful. They sent hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think they had two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time. But they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago.
Exactly.
You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people, because, and there are some people, I guess I would say that, but they're not smart people, or they're not savvy.
A bunch of jibber jabber.
Man, holy shit, balls. Listening to that dude is the worst. Holy crap. But anyway, man, I mean, it's obvious, man. When is Iran attacked America?
Right.
I mean, when? I mean, what are they even talking about? This guy lives in his own fucking world. It makes no sense. The only person that has been hollering and screaming to go to war with Iran for 30 years is Netanyahu. And like we played the video last week, man, where the guy said, man, he tried to do the same thing with Joe Biden. He tried to do the same thing with Obama. He tried to do the same thing with Bush. He's been pushing for this since the 90s. And he finally got an idiot that was going to follow behind what he says and gives him the okay to go to war with these guys. Now, with Trump, from day one, has made horrible decisions when it comes to Israel. Moving the sites of the Capitol, giving them the okay to do what they want to do, and America's behind them. Those were bad moves, man. Those decisions led to what happened on October 7th to me. And Netanyahu treating people like trash, and the way they treat those people over there, man, like they're all criminals. It's horrible. And I'm not with it, man. And I don't care, man. We want people who are against what Israel's doing. They're trying their best to wipe out all those people in Palestine, man. They really are trying to create genocide for Zionism. It's crazy, man. This dude, he resigned this week because Joe Ken, he resigned. He could not in good conscience support the administration's decision to go to this stupid ass war. And his reasons was pretty blunt, man. He said Iran was not about to attack us.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep saying, oh, it was an imminent threat. There was an imminent threat. An imminent threat. What was it? What was the threat? Because if it was imminent, that means we already were attacked. But they keep moving the goalposts like always. This is the disaster. And the world is seeing what we are suffering. We're already suffering from the tariffs. Now here come gas prices. It was already hard under Joe Biden because of fucking COVID and the inflation that we seen from then. This is a bad time, man. This dude is supposed to be coming in, trying to get things back to normal. Instead, people are losing jobs. We lost 94,000 jobs last month. People are hurting in America, man. This is not the route that we need to go. Why would we go to war? He talked about it for 4 years while Joe Biden was in there, how bad the economy is, how bad situations are. This is why he won. Talking about these things, talking about how people needed help with their wallets, talking about the breaks that he was going to give to people. And he's done the exact opposite of those things. We all should be pissed off. And he keeps saying that the war started because of pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. That's what Joe Kent said. And that's a serious accusation because it's true. The official explanation for the war has not been Iran was becoming a threat to U.S. security, but Kent says that that's not what the intelligence showed. And when he was the person in charge of counterterrorism, he can say what the threat really was and wasn't. It leaves a lot of questions, man, unanswered. But he stood up and he left because he felt as though this is not the route that he's want to stand for.
Exactly. But now Joe Kent is not just some random bureaucrat. He was the director of counterterrorism of the National Counterterrorism Center, which is one of the most important intelligence positions in the country. That agency is responsible for tracking threats, analyzing terror networks, and advising the president on national security risks. The agency that Kent was confirmed to in 2025 after a close vote in the Senate, and before that, he served as a Green Beret in multiple deployments. So that should tell you that he has some level of intelligence knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what the hell he's talking about. He worked in intelligence.
Yeah.
He worked for the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
He ran for Congress twice. So this is somebody who understands what national security intelligence means and how the system actually works. And that's why his resignation matters so much, because when some people with that background says that the threat is not real, people start paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying close attention.
I agree with you, Ryan, man. The AI bubble, man. I was reading something on Bill Gates today, and he was saying, listing all the jobs that are going to go because of AI. And it was a long list. And it makes you nervous. You'd also ask the question, if all of us are out of work, who do they think are going to buy their products? Who's going to buy gas if all of us are out of work and AI is doing everything? I don't understand why they think that this shit is a good idea with AI. You're supposed to add on to help your workers be more productive, but they are looking for ways to get rid of workers, period, and use AI. I mean, I don't know why a lot of these people in America think that billionaires are our friends, but most of the richest people, they don't even give jobs. I mean, you got people like Walmart. Sam, his kids, Walmart's kids, they do employ a lot of people, but most of those people are still on aid because they don't believe in paying their people a good fucking wage. You got McDonald's, one of the top companies in the world. Billionaires, billions and billions is coming into this company. They don't want to pay their workers anything, so their workers are still on aid. They get tax breaks from us. They get all type incentives to move their companies into the areas. And then on the back end, we have to pay for their workers to eat because they don't want to pay them a decent wage. And I got people who want to fight for the billionaires, fight for the millionaires, tell us that, oh, they don't need to pay more taxes. You just need to work harder.
Get a better job.
Get a better job. Do this, do that. But dog, how are we keep on paying for these people? They're a billionaire. They should be able to pay their fair share in taxes. I do. Why do they get fucking cuts and subsidies and all this shit and everybody's okay with it as their products get subsidized? They get subsidies from this, subsidies from that. Elon Musk taking government handouts and calling people not shit, talking shit about the American public while putting our tax dollars in his fucking pocket. Talking about black people and how they can't fly airplanes and then still taking our money because we pay taxes too and put it in his fucking pocket. These are the things that we think is unfair in America. And I'll keep fighting for it because it's bullshit that these people get to pay no taxes. We need to go back to the days of the 60s when these motherfuckers was paying 90% over a certain amount. For real, 90% wealth tax, man. I'm with it. I'm sick of this shit. They have all the money. 1% of the fucking country has everything. No, it's not subjective. They should be paying the same amount of what they are paying getting out. Wealth tax, man. They already have enough money. How many billions do they fucking need? And I just don't understand why poor people keep fighting for these motherfuckers, man. We are losing, bro. You think that it's just this faucet of money that just keeps running? If they are getting billions and all these people are collecting billions of dollars, that means we are getting less money. The pieces of the pie are just going to them and we're fighting over one slice. That's how this is going, man. It's not going like, oh, it's just the pie is infinite and everybody's going to get us. That's not how it fucking works. These guys are getting all the slices of the pie and we're fighting over one slice. That's not the way it's supposed to work. I mean, you have to tax the rich, man. That's all we're saying. The last time that the deficit was taken care of and we had a surplus is when we had taxes higher. Taxes has to be higher. Giving the rich tax cuts over and over and over again. We've done it for 20 years. Tell us where it has gotten us. The size of the middle class has fallen. Another guy tried to bring up, oh man, in America, people would come from poor to rich more than other countries. No, they don't. The mobility from other countries from poor to rich is higher in places like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, even South Korea has better mobility than America right now. It is getting harder and harder to go from poor to middle class in this country. And while we're sitting around fighting, talking about all the rich people, they need their tax breaks. They've been rich forever. They're going to keep being rich. And that little money we tax them is not going to fucking hurt them. No, social welfare needs to be there, man. You talk about social welfare, and when we give subsidies to billionaires, we give billionaires breaks. I agree with you, man. Dude is going for $1 trillion. And some people will celebrate that this one motherfucker has $1 trillion. One person has $1 trillion. That's not something we should be clapping. And you got a bit. What do you need more than $1 billion for? I agree with you, man. That 90% tax, 100% tax, something. These are the taxes that we had in the 60s when we had the highest, largest middle class, when people were able to use their regular job and buy a house and a car and create the American dream for their family. That's when we had the highest mobility in this country, when the taxes were the highest, when we had better infrastructure. Those are the things that was happening. But let's play the next video of Johnson on Kent and what he thinks about Kent quitting.
This morning, former Congressman Joe Kent, who you campaigned for when he ran for Congress, resigned as the director of the Counterterrorism Center. He wrote that he cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. He writes, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nature. It's clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. How do you respond to that and to those other Republicans who say that this war is actually putting foreign interests above domestic interests?
Well, that proposition at the end is clearly wrong. I'm on the Gang of Eight. I got all the briefings. We all understood there was clearly an imminent threat, that Iran was very close to the enrichment of nuclear capability, and they were building missiles at a pace that no one in the region could keep up with. They were far outpacing our allies and friends and us in our defense capability, because we had personnel, installations, members of the armed services, and civilians in the region. Iran was building up ballistic missiles at such a rapid pace, and we knew that their plan was to fire them upon Americans. The commander-in-chief and his administration had a very difficult decision to make. I don't know where Joe Kent is getting his information, but he wasn't in those briefings, clearly, because the Secretary of State, the Secretary of War, and everyone, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, they had exquisite intelligence, and we understood that this was a serious moment for us. Had the president waited, I am personally convinced that we would have mass casualties of Americans, service members and others, and our installations would have been dramatically damaged. And so we had to, the president felt that he had to strike first to prevent those mass casualties. That's a summary. I can't tell you the classified part, but that's the summary that's made public, and it's accurate. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. So you trying to tell me the leader of counterterrorism knew nothing, and you knew it all because you was in a briefing? You're trying to tell me that Americans were going to be hurt? It was imminent danger that they were going to be hurt and people were going to be dying. We're going to die. But the only time people start dying is after you guys started bombing Iran. It doesn't make any sense. If there was imminent danger, someone would have been dead before you started bombing. But the deaths didn't happen until you bombed and killed their leader. It's really bullshit, man. I'm so sick of the lies that these people tell. And this guy say he's religious. He's the lyingest religious dude I ever seen in my life. All he do is lie. That was ridiculous, man. Or people were in danger. People were in danger. We know for sure. There was a briefing that said people were in danger. Get the fuck out of here. But they never will say where these people were in danger. They would never say what the threat was. They're just going to keep on saying there was a threat. At least Bush and them was able to come up with WMDs. They not even staying with the nuclear weapon thing. That was their first excuse, nuclear weapons. And now they're going with something else, imminent danger. It's a crazy claim. But Kent said there was no imminent threat. He's the leader of counterterrorism. He said Iran posed no imminent threat to the fucking United States. He said the war happened because of pressure from Israel. And he said he could not support it. Now the phrase imminent threat is very important. In U.S. law and international law, that's the standard used to justify military actions. If there is no imminent threat, then the case for war becomes much harder to defend. And that's why this resignation could become a political problem for Trump. Because if this feeds the argument that the war was never necessary, which we all know that, it feeds the argument that U.S. was pulled into a conflict, and it feeds the argument that foreign policy decisions are being influenced by allies instead of American interest.
Yep. Kent's comment about pressure from Israel is also getting attention. And because he said that the war started because of the pressure from Israel and its American lobby. Now, that is something that you don't usually hear from someone inside of the government. Support for Israel has always been strong in Washington, but both parties have backed Israel for decades now. But openly saying that the U.S. went to war because of Israeli pressure is something that is very rare to actually hear, especially from an intelligence official. And that's controversial.
Yep.
Because it raises questions about who is actually driving the foreign policy and whether or not American troops are being sent into a conflict for reasons that are not directly tied to American security in the first place.
Right. And people coming in, what you say, they're no longer a threat to the world. It's crazy because the world obviously don't see them as a threat because they don't want to help Trump at all. If the world saw Iran as a threat, wouldn't you think that they would be trying to help to get rid of this threat? Everybody has refused to help Trump. Make me understand, if they were so frightful and in so much fear of what Iran was going to do,
why didn't the other countries in NATO help?
Why wouldn't they join in? If it was such imminent danger that everyone was in, why wouldn't they send their militaries? We know that they didn't have any nuclear weapons. We know that. We know that. They didn't have them. It's made up bullshit. But at least, they knew that lie wasn't working, so they went to another lie. But he should have just stuck with that lie. The fact that you moved off that and went to other imminent danger and other fucking garbage ass lies, that these are the things that is hurting this administration, because everyone's saying these guys are all over the place.
If you're going to lie about your reason for going to war, stick to that motherfucker.
Stick to your lie, man.
Stand 10 toes deep.
What are you going to do?
Shit.
I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. We're not going to get to our last story, but it's all good, man. What the administration says, and the Trump administration has said, that they're defending this war. Officials say Iran's action in the region, its missile program, and its support for militant groups made military action necessary. They say waiting could have made things worse. That's what Michael Johnson says. They say the strikes were about preventing a larger conflict. But Kent's resignation makes that argument harder to sell, because now the public knows at least one senior intelligence official disagrees. He resigned publicly and said he could not support this garbage decision.
Couldn't support it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, this might look like it's just one resignation. But the stories like this, they can grow.
Mm-hmm.
More officials in the Trump administration could resign over their opposition of the Iranian war. So if more officials do speak out, that pressure is going to increase. And if Congress starts asking questions, pressure's done.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure's done. And if the war continues without clear results, that pressure is also going to increase. So we've seen this before in American history, in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. And at first, the government says that the war is necessary. But then people inside the system start to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Then the public starts to question their decisions. And then the politics change. Well, we don't know if that's going to happen here, but this resignation is the kind of moment that can start that same process all over again.
Mm. Now we see people in the comment section talking about Iran. People was celebrating. They're celebrating so hard that they're bombing every country in the Middle East around them. That's kind of weird. They're celebrating so hard that they're bombing places. I mean, you have to be smart enough to know that there was a small contingency of people that were celebrating. Most of the people was for Khomeini. They are for their country. And we saw the people who came out marching, and the groups were much larger than the small groups that came out that was celebrating Khomeini's death. And he killed a lot of people and did a lot of horrible things to those people who were protesting. Young kids. Killed 30,000 of them. Bad, man. Horrible person. And they killed another guy this weekend that was a top guy also. So it's been a day. Hey, the Israel, they know how to take you out, man. They are great at murdering, great at killing. But what can we do, man? We have a government right now that is fully behind Israel, fully behind Netanyahu. What we want as a country doesn't matter anymore. We are 100% in the bed with Israel. Like dude said, that their lobbyist is strong. They're going around paying off all the politicians, so they're not listening to the people. It doesn't make any sense, man. And to see so many Republicans gung-ho about going to Iran and having troops on the ground, and now they're saying, oh, you don't want to see America succeed. It's ridiculous. And we just keep standing up, man. Call your senator, call your congressman, call your district leaders. Let them know how much you hate this war and you hate about what is going on in this country right now. The question is simple, man. Was this war avoidable? Were
Yes.
the people that's been killed already and the Americans, you're right, Ryan, say no to AIPAC Democrats. That's real. If you're taking money from AIPAC, we're not voting for you. We're sick of it. I don't care what side you're on. Democrats too. I'm sick of it. Yeah, there's all money. We can look it up and see who's taking money from these fuckers. Sick of it, man. We all know that this war was avoidable. We all know we had a different choice. Why we made a different choice, we all know is Bibi and Israel was in charge. But we'll keep watching this story, man. We'll keep our eyes on it because intelligent officials keep resigning. That's never a small thing. That's something bigger maybe happening behind the scenes as his officials and the people who are in charge try to tell Trump, no, this is not the way to go. But he never listens to the people that are his advisors. He listens to Trump and Trump only. I hope there aren't troops on the ground, man. I hope not. I hope that this ends soon and someone would end this crap. Yeah, man. Schumer definitely has to go. Jeffries is weak, man. I just think he's weak. I agree on some of the things he has, but he's weak, man. And if they're taking AIPAC money, get him out of there. Get him out of there, man. Yeah, we do. We need more people who are willing to stand up. I straight up, man. I don't want to push for any Democrat that's not going for universal health care. Straight up. If you're not talking about taxing the rich and universal health care, I'm not voting for you. Because these are two things that I am sick of seeing. People going broke, losing their houses over fucking health care. People losing everything because they can't afford to go to the doctor. I'm sick of seeing that shit. This is an American issue that we can fucking fix so easy, but we refuse. And if you're with trying to battle all the wars for Israel, I'm not with you. Iranians are not grateful, man. They're bombing places. So stop it. Yeah, it would be a brave president. You're right. It probably would be difficult to get a president that's on those two things. But hey, man, we have to do something. We can't keep on going down this same path of all these people who want to be centrist and keep things the same. We need progression. And if it takes someone to take us to somewhere different than what we've been seeing for the last 20 years, 30 years, we need that person. And they need to come. We need them. Whoever it is. I don't think anyone out right now has the ideals that's needed to push these to push a Democrat in. We need people with ideals. I don't know if Newsom has the ideals. I haven't heard him talking about universal health care. I haven't heard him talking about taxing the rich. I know in California they do tax them motherfuckers a lot. But that's what we need, man. Someone, I mean, you don't have to be 100% a socialist, but you definitely need some socialist ideals that needs to be put in place to help this country move forward. Period. All right, man. I appreciate you, Ryan. I appreciate everyone else that stayed with us and talked with us for a while. We're going to get up out of here. We'll be back on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. If you could, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the follow button and hit that alert bell. We will be coming out to talk more about what's going on.
And don't forget to become a member. That is a new option that we have for you guys. Please help us keep the lights on.
Please, man. We appreciate you guys. We love everything. And like I said, this is, media trying to make a difference. And for us to make a difference and our voices heard, man, we need your help. And we love everything that's going on and everything that you guys doing to support us. But we always need more because we want to make this as big as possible. For everyone can know that poor people are sick of it. The middle class is sick of it. We want change. All right. Y'all be easy, man. Until next time, peace out.
Thanks for watching another episode of Habari Live. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on news, the podcast, and more. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to visit www.habarientertainment.com. See you next week. Peace.